Hey, what's up, dudes and dudettes? Brad the Guitarologist here. A viewer of the channel, I met him in person. He lives here in Louisville. He showed me this thing. He said I could show it to my channel, and I thought this might be just kind of cool for a diversion for a few minutes. This is from the 80s, I believe, and it is from the heyday of MTV. This is the real MTV when they actually played music and music videos. Not the MTV that basically turned into a bunch of reality show nonsense in the late 90s. Just got really ridiculous. It is an affiliate marketing handbook. You see right there on the spine, affiliate marketing handbook. I think he said he got this on eBay or some other online auction. But I thought we'd take a look at this because this is going to give us perhaps some insight into what was going on at MTV back in the 80s. What I think this is actually marketing tools that they would take around to advertisers. So I think they would take this little binder and they, when they would go to a meeting with prospective advertisers, they would take this and they would show the advertisers what MTV was all about, what kind of, rates they could get, what kind of advertising slots they could get, all that sort of thing. What kind of shows they had coming up on which they could advertise their product and that sort of thing. I'm pretty sure that is what this is. So they were basically showing what MTV does. They were trying to showcase, in a board meeting, in a boardroom setting with suits who didn't know MTV from, fucking PBS, what MTV was all about and what kind of programming they had. So this would show, you remember surely Rod Stewart, this guy, well, he's going to be on MTV. He's going to be on in April on MTV, and you can, for the Sunday night film series, Faces in Concert at London's Wembley Stadium, taped in 1975. The show is scheduled for telecast April the 11th. Now, you could probably look this up and see when this actually aired. When did this Rod Stewart show air on April the 11th? And you could probably figure out what year this is from. But this is a promo. Basically, they would slide across the boardroom table at the executive sitting over there, like I said, who didn't know his ass from a hole in the ground when it came to, music. But he knew he wanted to advertise, so they would slide this across and say, well, you could advertise in this Rod Stewart, thing if you want to. Or, we've got this other thing coming up where we're going to feature performers on Music Television's Saturday Night Concert Series, June 12th at midnight. You can do this one, and it's going to have Huey Lewis in the News. These guys are all the rage now. You want a new drug? Well, here's your new drug, prospective advertiser. They've got, and we have videos from guys like these, these long-haired people. I know they look funny, but all the kids love them now, So this is kind of the pitch that they would be giving these suits probably to sell their advertising. At least that is my summation based on what is here. That's what it looks like to me, what all of this is. He's got a couple of patches here. These are actual like clothing patches or whatever. I guess you could put on. He said I could have one of these, so that's cool. I'm going to keep one of those aside and put it on my jean jacket, I think. So that's kind of neat. Have you stereoized your TV? Hear MTV Music Television on your FM receiver for details. Call your cable company. So there's those, and then we've got this. Is this some kind of trades magazine or something? I can't remember. There are people known as vidiots. Tried and true, dyed in the wool, purebred. They don't remember a day when television wasn't a fact in their lives, an omnipresence. Simultaneously, these people were forming the backbone of what's become known as the music subculture. From their infancy, music and its many forms are also omnipresent fact of life. And for the majority of them, when rock and roll hit solidly in the mid-60s, music became an undeniable fact of life. Whether it came in the form of records, tapes, concert, or FM radio, this group revered music too. But until August 1st, 1981, these people could not enjoy the integrated form of both of these major lifestyle influencing media. It was either one or the other at any specific time. Then on that summer day, they were given MTV. Rosanna! Rosanna. You gotta love that up close mustache in the Rosanna video. That one is classic. Rosanna, yeah. So yeah, you remember these? Okay, MTV VJs. That was a job. Young kids. You didn't have a chance to witness really what a VJ was, but it was basically a video jockey. And these were some of the ones that I remember. All these guys. I don't know if I remember him. I definitely remember him, and I remember her. I think I remember this dude too. I'm not sure about those guys. Cool, he's got a Dan Electro Belzuki. Check that out. Never seen that before. So there's an interesting ad for you Dan Electro freaks right there. Check that out. That's got to be pretty rare. That'd be a good one for framing right there. It's an MTV ad. Wait a minute, what is this? VCA Teletronics, a video corporation of America. So this is a VCA Teletronics ad, but the kid is wearing an MTV hat and holding a Dan Electro guitar. So kind of a confusing ad, but pretty cool. So an ad for ASCAP. ASCAP members pictured here constitute 63% of MTV's July the 6th heavy rotation playlist. I guess they were raking it in, huh? Video Vici. You came, they saw, we prospered. Thanks MTV, Epic Portrait, and the CBS associated labels. Well, that's interesting. See, this is like an MTV centric magazine. This must be like a magazine that was available at MTV. Like if you worked at MTV, like maybe this was handed out, circulated in the corporate office or something like that. See, because it's all like propaganda, like all these different people giving quotes about MTV and how important it is and all this stuff. Congratulations and continued success from Hall & Oates, Rick Springfield, the Eurythmics, Triumph, Jefferson Starship, RCA Records and Cassettes. So yeah, this is definitely some kind of in-house MTV publication. What is this? A Billboard advertising supplement. Oh, okay. August the 6th, 1983, Billboard. MTV 13. That's like the page numbers. So maybe this is out of a Billboard magazine, like the center of it. And this is just an MTV centric portion of a special issue of Billboard magazine from 1983. Happy birthday, MTV. So this is like their second birthday. MTV wants their Chrysalis Records. Atlantic Records. See, it's all these record companies saying basically happy birthday to MTV and thank you MTV and all this stuff. MTV was a big deal, man, for these record companies. It allowed them a platform to advertise, the albums and bands that they wanted to promote. So it was a big deal. There was definitely a lot of crosstalk, with sharing employees and things like that, I'm sure. And I'm sure lots of deals to get their preferred band into heavy rotation and probably all kinds of crap like that took place. I'm sure it did. There's MCA Records. Congratulations to MTV. Here's another one. John Scher and the staff of Monarch Entertainment. What an interesting publication. Weird piece of ephemera from 1983 here, Ooh, Ampex. Check that out. Ampex. The tape company. That's pretty cool. Designers of the MTV logo. We put it together for MTV. Manhattan Design in New York. Opinion Research Corporation. Camelot Music. Record Plant Studio. So this is really something that's kind of separate from the main thing we were going to look at, but that's interesting nonetheless. Reeves Teletape. There's Pat Benatar. Remember when she was all the rage? My uncle, who's now dead, I was staying at his house one time. I remember distinctly, and we were watching MTV, and Pat Benatar was on there. I guess it was "Love Is a Battlefield" video, where she's wearing kind of a skimpy dress and fishnet stockings or whatever, and his wife, my aunt, was like, "Don't let him watch that." I think I was probably 5 or 6 years old or whatever, whenever that song came out, and it was on MTV. Very distinct memory. Don't let him watch that. You know, like it was some salacious thing, you know, Pat Benatar. Okay, so this will give you an idea of time frame for sure. Heavy Rotation, Shake It Up by the Cars, Pretty Woman by Van Halen. What are we looking at? 84, 85 probably in here. Fantasy by Aldo Nova, Spirits in the Material World, Jenny, 8675309, Freeze Frame, Say Goodbye by Triumph, Working for the Weekend by Loverboy. Medium Rotation. Look, they have them even delineated in writing how heavy the rotation was going to be for these particular videos. Love is Like a Rock. I Can't Go for That. No. Through Being Cool by Devo. Saxon. Look at that. Off of their Denim and Leather. Hang on. Let's take this off. Okay, so Graham Oliver, who is a viewer of my channel, he ought to be interested in that. So, Princess of the Night, there you go, Graham. There's when Saxon was in medium MTV rotation. Check it out, man. Do You Believe in Love? Prince Charming. Don't you want me, baby? I'm gonna harden my heart. I'm gonna swallow my tear. Yeah, this will be 83, 84, right? Quarter Flash, that's when that came out. Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Centerfold. Hold On Tight, ELO. Hold on tight to your dreams. So this is all the medium rotation stuff. Just kind of show you all this. The Police was all over the place here. Every little thing she does is magic. To the Stroke on this page. There's some Priest heading out to the highway. Some Tom Petty. Man, this was a good era for music, man. It really was. I don't think MTV could have survived for very long in today's musical era because there's just not enough. There's really not enough variety, and there's not enough, visually impressive artists like who are doing their own thing. I think it would become very, very samey, very, very quick if MTV had come out today. You know, you wouldn't have gotten the diversity of musical artists today. So here's the light rotation stuff. So I don't know. I think it's possible that they would have come in with this, and they would have said, my daughter-in-law, she really likes this song. The suit would be saying across the boardroom table, she really likes this song. We'd like our advertisement to come on after this song. Is that possible? Probably think. And I'm sure they would say, well, we can't guarantee it'll do it every time, but we'll try to, squeeze it in or something. Here's another Saxon song, Midnight Rider. So there you go, Graham. You were on, what was this? Is this light rotation? Okay, so Midnight Rider was on light rotation for you guys. So that explains why your royalty check wasn't as big. MTV had you segmented here. Yeah, this is interesting stuff. It really is. I mean, if you grew up during this time, it's interesting to look at this and to think, okay, I remember seeing all these videos, Promises in the Dark, and all this stuff, and Our Lips Are Sealed, and did it start out in low rotation? Our Lips Are Sealed, because that was a pretty big hit for the Go-Go's. So did it start out in low and then make its way up to high? I really don't know, but it would be interesting to see, what their internal documents were like. But so for anybody else who has one of these binders like this out there, you'll be able to compare this one to yours now. There's Betty Davis Eyes. That had to be heavy rotation at some point, but it wasn't here. It was low rotation. But I seem to remember a time where it was heavy rotation. I haven't counted the numbers of videos. There's Angel in the Morning. They actually played Juice Newton on MTV. Guess they did. Marshall Tucker? Really? They did Marshall Tucker? On low rotation. Interesting. So I didn't count how many videos were listed there. MTV's current playlist. So that was in any given, I don't know how often they would have issued this. Maybe every week or something, probably. They would update this, is my guess. you know, if you want to go through and count how many videos are there, that's how many videos they had in rotation in a given week. So that might give you some insight into how MTV operated there with regard to their video rotation, if you're a historian of such things. What is this? It's too big to fit on my screen here, but we'll take a look at it. A sample marketing plan flowchart. Sample marketing plan flowchart. I'll give you some idea how big this thing is. So it's poster size. This thing is huge. It's probably not as big as the Cindy Crawford poster that you had on your ceiling as a young 13-year-old boy, or the Kathy Ireland poster you had on the back of your door as a 13-year-old boy. Don't ask me how I know. It's pretty big. Sample marketing flowchart. Introduction to community at large. Introduction to current subscribers. Simulcast with FM station. Who's Bill Stuffers? Price promotion on stereo. Second set hookups. This is some pretty esoteric insider stuff here. Launch date, introductory period. This line represents the day you launch. Do not count as a week. So they're telling you how many advertisements you're going to get and where, like on with this chart. Adam and the Ants was all over the place at this time when this was put together. Watch concerts in true stereo every Saturday night. That's cool. Is this something somebody... Was this cut out? No, this wasn't cut out of something. That's the way this came. Let's check that out. Series... call your cable company. This series is sponsored by Scripto Incorporated. That would make a cool little poster if you framed it nice. Split Ends and the Doors. 1968 documentary Doors Are Open featuring songs from their Electra LP Greatest Hits. 38 Special, Bob Welch, The Go-Go's. Okay, let's get a look at what's in this binder. Cable Marketing Handbook that can do you some good where it counts. This handbook is for the long haul. We intend this handbook to be a permanent, active part of your marketing of MTV. A complete guide to every aspect of marketing MTV in your system. Exactly what is MTV? For the first time on television, the viewers offer 24 hours of contemporary music and full stereo sound, combining the excitement of music with the magic of television. It's like TV, it's like FM stereo. It's very different from both, more than either. It is a kind of entertainment you've never seen before. MTV is unique. So they were still in the very early stages of selling MTV, and they had to tell people what it was. Well, what is this MTV I keep hearing my kids, grandkids talk about? So 12 to 34-year-olds, that's basically like a key demographic for certain sales, I'm sure, of records particularly, because those are the people buying records. The TV generation, about 40% of the total population of the U.S. is between the ages of 12 and 34. This group grew up with television, watching thousands of hours before the age of 12. Yet as they grew, many outgrew much of what commercial TV offered them. Look at what music is actually being played. We'll provide a broad mix of contemporary music to appeal to a large audience segment interested in music. MTV will mix new music with old and play recognizable popular stars like Blondie, The Who, The Rolling Stones, and many, many more. Video jockeys are MTV on-air personalities, introduce records, provide information, and help tie everything together into a cohesive fashion that will give an identity to the service. 8 minutes an hour are commercials, 2 minutes assigned to your system for local sale. What you'll actually see in here, most of the programming is video records, televised presentations of songs. These may feature artists singing their songs or acting them out. Sometimes they're animated, sometimes they interpret the song. Sometimes they use elements of new video art, experimental and exciting. It's all fascinating to watch, and in full stereo, don't forget that. It's also magnificent to hear. How MTV came into being. For the past few years, American record companies have been producing increasing numbers of video records for promotional use in record stores abroad and for clubs and commercial television here in the States. In fact, enough video records now exist that our 24-hour channel can be fully programmed, with new video records coming all the time. Why the record industry supports MTV. The record industry is extremely enthusiastic about MTV. I'm sure they were. They're not only anxious to provide great music, but great visuals too. They like the newness. They also think MTV will help sell more records. And in time, video discs and cassettes. This gives you natural and important allies in your community to help you market MTV. Record marketers have found it increasingly difficult in recent years to break or introduce new music on radio, as stations have become more and more restrictive. Frequently, stations don't even identify the names of songs or artists. MTV not only includes new artists in every hour of programming, we identify every video record on screen. Okay, this is interesting. Target audience. See, this is giving you some inside baseball here, which is kind of cool if you're into from a cultural history standpoint. The network listings yourself, you'll find very little that appeals specifically to this audience. A wealth of demographic information supports this. For the most part, commercial TV has forgotten the TV generation. At the same time, it's a sizable target audience for your system. For on the average, there is one TV generation person in every cable household. You know, I also have to wonder, talking about for your system, I have to wonder whether or not this was still maybe even selling MTV to certain cable package companies at the time. You know what I mean? Like they didn't even have MTV on their cable package, and they were trying to get them to offer MTV on their cable package. Maybe that's what this person was responsible for, along with selling advertising. Why else would you be including this kind of stuff? You see what I'm saying? Stereo music, TV generation moves out of TV. As everyone knows, the 60s and 70s were times of enormous growth in the music industry. The expansion of FM stereo, the explosion of rock music, the advent and growth of discos and rock clubs, the gigantic concerts, each has a part in the current music industry picture. The TV generation loves music. The average number of this target group listens to FM more than 26 hours per week. Man, imagine a time back when people were listening to FM radio that much. 26 hours a week of FM radio.
Oh, I used to be number one in this town, but people don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV.
That's stupid.
It sure is, Kevin. In fact, I've got a tattoo here that fully illustrates my point. It's of this rebellious young man, and he's urinating on an FM radio.
You didn't have cell phones. You know, what were you going to do when you're just bumbling around the house cleaning up? You know, my mom always put on the radio all the time. It was always on. Always. You know, if the TV wasn't on, the radio would be on because she was cleaning up or cooking dinner or doing something that, you know, you couldn't really specifically sit down and watch and follow a story on a TV program. You know, the radio was always on. So it's a good argument for MTV because you could put MTV on and still listen to the music, or you could sit and watch it if you're the kids. You know, you see what I'm saying? So you could both enjoy the programming in different ways. So, I mean, that was kind of one of the benefits of MTV, is that it was kind of it was more social, really, for the whole family. And my mom was relatively young, too, so she had me when she was young. So I grew up liking a lot of the same music that she liked, you know. Advertising revenues. Many other cable networks offer you local advertising abilities, but no service offers the valuable 12 to 34 targeted audience MTV offers. That translates to higher advertising rates. Music and stereo go hand in hand. After all, what's better than to sell stereo than with music? You know, again, this was maybe they were trying to get people to upgrade their cable package or something. Was it broadcast in mono? I don't know. Maybe the standard was mono, and they were trying to get them to go to stereo. Consider that your system receives, for example, $2 a month revenue per stereo subscriber. Because MTV comes to you for free, that's bottom line profit minus your installation costs, which are, of course, normally recouped with your installation charges. This is definitely selling it to people in the cable TV industry who are putting packages together and installing cable TV in houses. Second set hookups. So, like if you wanted a second hookup in the kids' room, this could increase remarkably. It's not hard to imagine why. In homes with teenage children, parents want to watch the news, sports, commercial programs, movies. But teenagers want to watch and listen to MTV in their rooms. Parents are only too happy to comply, so you can upsell them another hookup. I remember when that was the case. You would get a cable box for each room, and you had to have a separate cable box, and they would charge you separately for each box back in the day. Yeah, I definitely remember that time. This is kind of a flashback for me. What we want to accomplish with MTV, viewership, not just subscribers, in order to realize the maximum advertising revenues possible from this amazing target audience, we not only want subscriber numbers, we want people to watch it. Important advertising revenues are possible on MTV when the target audience is in place. How we're helping you market MTV. Check out all of that if you want to. I'm not going to read all of this stuff, but it's just interesting to go through this. A final word before the specifics. MTV thrives on demonstration. Till now, every other cable service has been a familiar concept, such as movies, news, sports, yada yada. Viewers understood what to expect, but MTV is entirely new. It uses television in a way it's never been used before. It combines stereo sound, sight, we already know that. So in order to make it a success, it requires that you get out to your community and let people see it and hear it. So you got to demonstrate it. People will be curious when they hear about MTV. But once your target audience actually experiences a stereo demonstration, they'll want to have it in their homes. They'll agree music never looked so good. Special importance of promotion to MTV's success. So there you go. If you want to read all of that, you can pause it and read all of that if you want. There's that page if you want to pause that and read that. An on-air preview shortly before the launch of MTV on either one of your local channels or local MTV will be on provides the foundation on which to introduce and promote MTV. So basically what this is, we supply the tape to your system for free. So what they do is MTV would send them a tape that they would broadcast, like the local cable company. They would put it on and broadcast it on one of their channels. So it would be like a preview that would show the people who already had their cable service what MTV looked like. So if they wanted to order MTV, they could order it. 60-minute program includes a commercial for MTV, a video jockey who will welcome viewers of your system to MTV, an explanation by the VJ of how MTV works, some video records, and the VJ will urge people to phone for stereo hookup. You know what? I remember seeing these. I distinctly remember seeing this. You would flip to this channel that MTV was supposed to be on, and if your package didn't currently have MTV, if you didn't subscribe to it, there would be a VJ on there saying, call this number and ask your cable provider about MTV and all that kind of shit. I remember that. Demonstration is key to MTV's success. How to demonstrate MTV. So basically they'll send them out with these VHS tapes. If the location isn't wired, maybe it can be. And if it can't be wired, a VCR and a monitor combined with a portable stereo speakers will work during the introductory period. Loan them the preview tape or tape segments directly off the air yourself. If lack of equipment is a problem, consider a three-way promotion where a stereo or TV dealer lends you the equipment in exchange for free advertising on MTV and courtesy signs crediting them at the display. Loan your equipment for short-term use. Suggest a reputable VCR rental company. Wow. They had it all figured out, didn't they? Music clubs. Many of these clubs have built-in business on the type of music MTV plays. Many clubs already have video equipment, some even with widescreens. MTV offers them innovative video stereo music programming. Get them a stereo hookup, and they can turn on MTV between sets of live bands in off hours, or can feature our concert series. Note, for legal reasons, you cannot charge admission to watch MTV, so you cannot put MTV in a club that charges admission. Huh. Okay. How to keep MTV in the public eye. So there's that page if you want to pause and read that. MTV banner contest, Battle of the Bands, air guitar contest, special events you can create for even more visibility. There's direct mail, bill stuffers, advertising overview, television, TV advertising on your system. Remember that MTV is another strong reason for non-subscribers to finally sign up for cable service. I'm sure a lot of people did just because of MTV. Like a lot of kids would pressure their parents. Oh, we got to get cable because we can have MTV like all the other kids at school. Many people who have light TV viewing habits and would not ordinarily sign up for cable may well use music as the reason to buy. When there are younger people in the household, talk up MTV. Marketing strategy, marketing objectives, marketing profile, setting goals. Very interesting. So, I mean, this is like they're trying to get MTV out to the masses here, clearly, and they're trying to get the cable carriers to accept MTV and also to get those carriers to promote MTV to their subscribers. And that's what this is all about, apparently. Very interesting. So, yeah, I want to thank Bill for letting me borrow this. I mean, I thought that was kind of interesting. It's kind of a view into the past, a past that really no longer exists. Like I said, as we all know, MTV is not the MTV of old, and hell, I don't even know if they're still on the air, but if they are, it's not even close to the same capacity that they once were. So while it's kind of sad, time marches on and things can't stay the same forever, I get that, but things were definitely better for the music industry back when MTV was in its infancy. So if you like this video, hit subscribe down below, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, do the same. And for now, we will see y'all later.